Hi, everyone. I'm Angela Goldsmith, Senior Manager of Product Management on the Avalara Integrations team. And we're very happy to be here today with our longest standing partner to date. Our relationship with Oracle NetSuite goes back almost 18 years. And we're going to talk about how it's grown and evolved over time. And joining us today is Oracle NetSuite Senior Director, Software Development, Terry Chan. Hello, Terry, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you for having me.
And from the Avalara side, we've got our senior technical lead, Yogesh Bande. Hi, Yogesh.
Hi, Angela. Hello.
I thought we'd explore our partnership together, looking at the past, the present, and the future. Terry, you were with us from the beginning. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Of course. I manage the solutions engineering team within the Suite Cloud Developer Network at NetSuite Oracle, or SDN. And my team supports technology companies building apps and integrations using our platform tools and APIs. And Avalara is one of the very first companies that started using our Suite Cloud platform. And that happened when I started my NetSuite career back in the early 2000s.
Well, let's start there. Why don't you take us through how this all began?
Yeah, of course. It was some fun time. So I was a NetSuite support rep back then. And my specialty was to support our customers using platform APIs, and all the sort of developer-centric tools back in the day. And now you have to understand that how a customer's IT department using these developer tools is very different from how a technology company or a software product company uses the same set of tools. In order to adequately support these companies, you really need a dedicated developer program to adequately help these technology companies using your APIs and your tools. And there was no such a thing back then, at least not in the support team. So I sort of became the de facto developer program, and I was the person who supports all these technology companies, including Avalara, calling in to use the product. So back then there was no developer program, so I was the one.
And thank you for being there for us. So from that point, how did the developer program get started?
Well, back in those days in the 2000s, there's a very key NetSuite platform feature that got released. It's called the server-side suite script. So what that was it's our extension to the JavaScript API to allow developers to plug their custom logic into all the relevant ERP transactions and other cool features, such as building a scripted page using our UI libraries, so it gives you a very nice and native feel to it. And back then, Avalara saw the potential in the APIs and started experimenting with it.
So, do you remember who you worked with in the early days as this was all getting off the ground?
Yeah, the developer that I worked with, I finally remember, was Vinod Kumar. And Vinod would call our call center every day around 10 o'clock in the morning. That's right when my shift started. And he would get transferred to me to work on these developer programs. So back then, Suite Cloud was a brand new platform. So there's very little developers that know about this. So Avalara, or Vinod from Avalara, and myself, we're one of the early people writing code on that platform. So we had a lot of fun with it. We tested all the APIs, we tried the features, we experimented new things, we tried new code snippets, we pushed the envelope, and it's almost like a new toy to kids, and that just sort of delighted the programming nerds in both of us. So we were spending a lot of time on the phone solving these problems on these early platforms. So and we learned a lot from that experience. One of the more interesting things was, now it's interesting, but back then it was kind of painful. So one of those things that we learned was it was very difficult to troubleshoot issues on the early stages of that platform, because there was no interactive IDE or interactive debugger. So the only way to troubleshoot problems is to put in a whole bunch of logging statements into your code, and then run your code over and over and over again many times to get the adequate amount of debugging information. So if there are any developers in audience, you can appreciate how difficult or troublesome it was. So it's funny now, but back then it was a pain, but it gave me a nice little war story to tell.
Well, I'm glad you stuck it out with
yeah.
us. So
Yeah,
how would you describe the partnership from there? It sounds like it was fun and painful, but growth for all.
Yes, it was. So yeah, it was a very beneficial relationship for both of us. For Avalara, you guys were the first company to come up with a native-based platform application for a marketplace. And for us, we gained a lot of valuable feedback from you, as well as having Avalara, our tax solution, as the backbone of our early ecosystem of partner applications. Today, we have hundreds of partner apps in our ecosystem, and they cover many different verticals, different horizontal point solutions. We have different apps that cover different geographies that allow us to go to different marketplaces in all over the world. And all these partner apps are critical to NetSuite in selling the NetSuite product globally.
So as we participated in the early days, what role did Avalara's feedback play into the Suite developer program?
Avalara gave us very valuable feedback. So yeah, it's one of the most important ones that we gained from the early adopters. So one of the key feedback they gave us was, well, I just talked about it, the lack of an IDE debugger. So a short time after our initial release, we heeded that feedback and came up with an interactive debugger as part of the platform to ease the troubleshooting aspect of writing Suite script. Now, so that's a very feature-centric feedback. There's also a lot of others of non-feature related feedback from early adopters in Avalara that we found very useful. Things that helps software companies build apps that benefit the whole ecosystem. So things such as release management, how to properly manage the deprecation of platform features, and so on and so forth. Those are all very important. And without adequately implementing those, it's difficult to support a platform that underpins a lot of partner applications that have a lot of joint customers. And that in the following years, Avalara kept embracing our new platform features such as One World that supports a multi-subsidiary, RESTlet, which is again another form of server-side SuiteScript to provide you with a RESTful web service interface, SuiteScript 2.0, so on and so forth. So yeah, it's been great.
Well, thank you for those kind words. And that brings us to the present. Yogesh, would you like to give everyone an update on what we've been doing with NetSuite and what we're continuing to do into the next year?
Yes, Angela. So initially, when we started our connector, we just had functionality to calculate tax, validate address, and exemption certificate management. Later, we also started supporting different versions of Web Store, SCA, and SCIS module. NetSuite SCIS team and our team work together to integrate the Avalara connector with SCIS, which is also known as POS module. Even today, we work together to discuss the approach and implement any feature. Now, we also support VAT, use tax, and cross-border calculation. Initially, when we implemented our connector, we used SuiteScript 1.0. Later, NetSuite introduced SuiteScript 2.0, and we also moved our connector to SuiteScript 2.0 in different phases. Every Avalara integration for NetSuite is BFN certified. Every year, NetSuite has two major releases, and we complete our compatibility testing within 1 week and declare our BFN approved connector.
So along the way, were there any bumps or challenges that stood out?
Yes. So if I remember, I worked on two most critical issues with NetSuite SDN team. SDN team, Brian Papa helped us to resolve this issue. Thanks to Brian Papa. First issue was the deprecation of NetSuite repository. NetSuite decided to deprecate repository around 2 to 3 years before, and we were hosting a bundle on the repository. Avalara was also using that repository where all customer was using that repository. We had a challenge where we need to move our bundle to new account without impacting customers. This would also have been bigger issue if customer would have lost the connectivity between our bundle. So brand papa came in the picture and move our bundle transition very easy. I can say that now it was easy, but that time it was not so easy.
So Brian really helped us get through that conversion. And what was the other issue that came to mind?
Yes. So another issue was regarding the search timeout. We had a utility, reconciliation utility, where we compare NetSuite transaction with our tax transaction. So we were facing one critical issue related to NetSuite search, which was giving timeout error. Our Avalara reconciliation utility deals with huge number of transactions. When in use, we need to read the ERP transaction as well as the Avalara API to read the transaction on Avalara side and then compare. We use this NetSuite search functionality, which were giving timeout issue for most of our customer, making that utility unusable. Again, here Brian Papa came in the picture and he provided us the possible solution to resolve this issue.
Thanks for that, Yogesh. Are there any other highlights you want to call out over the last few years?
Yes, in 2019, we implemented SuiteText connector.
And that was a big difference for us. Terry, can you tell us a little bit about SuiteText and its significance to developers?
Of course. So SuiteText is a brand new framework to allow third-party tax engines to be plugged into to NetSuite ERP, and it's a very elegant solution to integrate NetSuite ERP with custom logic. It's different from the classic way of building sales tax information because the new SuiteText engine expects a third-party engine to be plugged in. So the third party doesn't need to constantly fight with native NetSuite functionality on the default tax rate. It expects you to provide the correct rate. So it's a more elegant solution to allow custom logic in terms of taxation to be plugged in, and allows commercial opportunities for partners, but also allow customers to easily expand to other geographies based on tax engines from the correct vendor.
That's fantastic. And it does give us another great tool to work with. Yogesh, I think you have a few more highlights to share of things we've built out in the last couple of years.
Yes, Angela. So in 2021, we announced our connector for European-wide expansion. In 2022, we added extractor to allow NetSuite user to utilize sales and use tax return solution for customer who are not using our tax determination, which is our connector. We are also expanding connectors for special tax types, add-ons tax types.
So those are like rental and leasing, recycling fees, and I think we've got some coming up in 2024, right?
Yes. So back fees, bike tax, meal tax, those are the tax which will be coming in 2024.
And we're also going to be able to tackle that in SuiteText in the coming year as well, because of the updates that were made in the 2023.2 release. And talking to the product manager on the Oracle NetSuite side, we were able to unblock what was holding us back, and now we're going to be able to tackle that.
Correct.
That is just a great partnership that we've had with Oracle NetSuite, and it continues to grow. But one thing that hasn't changed, even though Terry doesn't have to do it anymore, Avalara and NetSuite still have a weekly sync meeting between our professional services implementation teams and NetSuite teams to make sure that if there are issues for our mutual customers, we're getting together to talk about those and work through them so that the customers get the benefit of both parties being engaged and involved and not having to ping pong back and forth between our two companies. And we're excited to say that we're going to be returning to Suite World this year as the titanium sponsor again. And that's just a testament to our long-standing partnership. And in fact, this year we're going to be one of 3 SDN partners being recognized at Suite World for 15 years of SDN involvement, because we've been in there since the beginning. So Yogesh, can you tell everybody in the audience just a little bit about what the SDN program is with Oracle NetSuite?
Yes. So SDN is an end-to-end program organized for developers who can build integration to extend NetSuite platform. Through SDN, developer can get everything what is needed for succeed.
So it's a good tool set for developers to integrate with NetSuite.
Yes.
And that's what's made this partnership really strong. And we're really grateful to help Oracle NetSuite celebrate their 25 years and 19 years of partnering with us. So thank you to Terry and all of the rest of Oracle NetSuite for letting us be a part of this exciting journey. And make sure to check out our keynote at Suite World this year in October, because we're going to have a few more things to share. And we'll also have a booth 504, so you can come visit your favorite Orange tax representatives. I'll even be there. If you happen to be at the show, you can meet me in person. And I have one last question for you, Yogesh. As a new company or a new developer that wants to start working with Oracle NetSuite, is there any advice that you would give them?
Yes, definitely. So as a NetSuite developer who is starting his career with NetSuite, he should have good knowledge of NetSuite functionality and JavaScript. When developing an application within NetSuite, he should optimize the code in such a way that it will consume less governance unit and execute quickly. NetSuite also has a very good documentation on their help center, which helps developer to learn functional and technical concept. I have also learned many things from their documentation. It's really a good documentation. It is important to stay abreast from our partner product direction. This helps you to leverage the latest technology and build the best practices possible.
Thanks, Yogesh. Terry, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, Yogesh, you're absolutely right, and I completely echo what you just said. Staying up to date on the platform, the Suite Cloud platform roadmap, it's extremely important, and also adopting these newer technologies, because using the new stuff allows you to build the best possible solution on the platform. And it also helps future-proof your application by using the latest stuff, but just simply have a longer shelf life just for using the latest platform features. And the third important point is when you use the latest features in the platform, it protects your customer's investment in NetSuite ERP. So yeah, 3 key things I'd like to cover by using the latest in platform.
Thank you both, Terry and Yogesh. This was a great history lesson in the partnership. And this feels like a pretty good way to start the day. That's all about partners. So again, thank you both for being here. And thank you to our audience for all being here as well and attending Avalara Next.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Terry.
Thank you.